With enough force to uproot posts buried 4 feet deep and snap 2x4s like twigs, this machine had certainly been unruly at best. But its potential couldn't be denied. Whether it was my own desire to succeed or a side effect of the sunk cost fallacy, I decided to devote this entire week to making my primitive brick press flawless. Now, at the start of the week, I was on prototype number 17. Every time I solved one issue, another arose. First, the mold wouldn't hold, so I made a concrete mold, and then the anchor point kept breaking, and then the bottom of the bricks kept deforming, and on and on and on. And each time the problems arose, the machine evolved into something slightly different. Now, you're joining me on Wednesday, as it had been raining for several days, and it's very difficult to record while it's raining. So let me walk you through what the compressed earth block machine is and how it works. The idea is really quite simple, and if you know anything about physics, you should be able to see what's happening just by looking. But this machine uses a simple lever to add a significant increase in force applied to the brick, turning this 300-pound log into more than 5 tons of pressure, which compacts the brick. In an ideal world, you could use these bricks straight out of the machine, but I'm not that advanced yet. I'd need at least 30 tons of pressure to do that. When I started making this machine, I just wanted a way to make the bricks more uniform with a little less effort.
I'd check out how many bricks I made.
But about 100 bricks in, I'd realized that this could potentially be ideal for permanent structures, as you could easily fire them once you get them down. But before I'd be able to do that, I'd have to stop the press from breaking every 5 minutes.
Okay, so you might have noticed we're in a new location, and that's because whatever I do, this thing just keeps breaking every anchor point. So what I'm gonna do is make like an X and do a mortise, and then I'll have a brace going across the top of the X, prohibiting them from going like this. That way when the anchor, when this bad boy pushes up on the cross of the X, then in theory it will lessen its ability to collapse, but it'll also prohibit it from coming out of the ground. This post right here is dug into the ground 4 feet, and I'm going to do a similar thing on this side with the other side of the X. And we're just going to hope for the best. There we go. Yeah, I kind of figured. Both of these posts are in the ground 4 feet deep, angled, and this machine is just pulling them straight out. So I'm wondering if our best option is to like hollow out the base of a tree, and then we'll just have to set up posts to hold the log support, because that log is heavy and I am not lifting that every single time.
I had fixed the mold, but now the anchor point was the problem, and since I didn't have a chisel or a chainsaw, I had to resort to more primitive methods. Using hot coals and my axe, I made a hole in the dead tree, the perfect size for the log. I'm having a great week, guys. Between the rain and the pain, it's been awesome.
Okay, I don't usually catch when I damage myself on camera, but I did that time. This log, which is more than twice my weight, as I was trying to roll it over here, I was setting it down, and there was a rock underneath it that I didn't see. And all of that weight went on just a single one of my fingers. All right, well, now that we got the fulcrum set up, all we gotta do is really just set up the rest. So I guess let's start with that.
One of the things that makes this machine so awesome is that I don't have to use my own weight because the log is so heavy. But I do it anyways, just for fun. Now, this machine is still a bit of work, don't get me wrong, but it's way less work than hand forming the bricks. And now that I'd finally got the machine to work without breaking, I devoted the rest of the week just to making bricks. Granted, it was only a couple hours, but still.
All in a day's work.
Man, this video is a mess. The bricks are made out of just random soil, but from what I've seen, this is the mixture that works best. 1 part subsoil, 3 parts clay, 1 part fine gravel, and just a little bit of water. The finer the gravel, the better, and the water content is what matters most. Oh, also, you want to make sure there are no rocks in there, as this can create a lot of problems with the bricks cracking as they dry. But thanks to my old chicken coop, I had plenty of perfect material to work with, and ended up being able to make about 4 bricks every 5 minutes, which is not a bad trade-off if I do say so myself.
With your hand on your heart, please tell me which way to go, 'cause I sure don't know. One piece in hand is a start, but it's a mighty puzzle to lay. No need to say, how will I cope? With your heart on your sleeve, it's a fine line between letting go and losing control.
These bricks would become the upper wall of my storage shed, but first I needed to fix the roof, so let's go hunting for saplings. Forests take a lot of time to grow, so the trees I cut down needed to meet certain criteria. That way the forest can continue to improve in health. A lot of trees are governed by this thing called terminal dominance, which means that if the leading stem breaks, the next stem down becomes that leading stem, which is really great for continued growth, but this can actually hurt the trees down the road. So when I look for saplings to cut, I look for trees that have lost their leading stems. If the tree has lost that stem, I then look at how crowded it is in the upper foliage, and if it looks like the trees around could benefit from the extra sunshine, I then look at the tree's age, size, species, and position relative to the other trees. Sometimes it's really hard to decide if a tree should stay or if it should go. And in these moments, I just move on.
Nope, no. Maybe.
I am under the impression that unless you can say yes with easy confidence, the answer is no. But sometimes it's very obvious if a tree needs to go. In this way, forestry becomes a lot like life. Sometimes it's very hard to make choices, even if you have a step-by-step plan set up to help you make them. But every choice you make will leave your forest either better or worse than before, so no pressure. Thankfully though, nature is very forgiving, so even if I mess up, Mother Earth will heal in time. As anticlimactic as it is, that's all I have for this week. From the outside, it may not look like much, but expecting there to be leaps and bounds to tell every week just isn't realistic. But now that I have the brick press working, I can finally focus on making the storage shed. But that's for next week's video. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you learned a little something. But until I see you in the field, happy hunting.
Yeah, I mean, it's holding on for dear life, but something tells me I'm gonna lose this fingernail, which is gonna make working really tricky.